and create lasting impact. And today I have my special guest. He is the founder and CEO of GetOblic, the voice first AI local business directory, none other than Mr. Laurent Cohen.
Yes, Daniel. Thank you for having me on a podcast. It's a pleasure and an honor.
Welcome, Mr. Laurent on Entrepreneurship 101. Can you please introduce more about yourself to that audience?
Yes, Daniel. My name is Laurent again. I'm 54. I was born and raised in France, and I have been living in the US since 2002. I'm an entrepreneur since 1993 now. That's a long time ago.
Long
and
time ago.
Yes, sir. And I consider myself a geek. I've always been into technology. And I believe in those past 30 years, I thought I've seen it all. But now with the AI coming into our lives, everything is changing for the better. And we'll talk about that, I believe, today. We're living an extraordinary time for any entrepreneur. Any origin, any age, whoever you are, opportunities are just at your doorstep. You just need to put the energy and the will, and you can succeed. So it's a wonderful time.
A wonderful time indeed. And thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world, Mr. Laurent. Thank you so much. And today, let's talk about being the founder and CEO of GetOblic. You often describe AI as utility rather than a luxury. What specific moment or experience in your career led you to the belief and directly inspired the funding of GetOblic?
I would sum it up in two words: the infinite game. Anybody can wake up with an idea. We all have great idea in the morning, right? We wake up, we have a glass of coffee and light bulb, we found the best idea. Now
Mhm.
you're not an entrepreneur yet. You start thinking, how am I going to make that idea a reality? So you start thinking, you have doubts, you find partners, you find money, you find tools, which AI are providing heavily nowadays. But then again, you don't have a company yet, because the real day you have a company is the day you start understanding who your customers are. And that's what I've learned in the past 30 years. If you don't know who your customers are, you do not have a product, you do not have a company. You can have the most beautiful established product that is somewhere online in the internet. Nobody will find you. You need to learn about your customers. So when we created GetOblic, we had a, a passion for customers. We had a motivation for customers, but most of it, we have an obsession for customers. We need to know who they are. And you know what, Daniel? When you start again building a company, you have a kind of an idea of who's your customer is going to be. Well, let me tell you one thing. You never know who's your customer is going to be, and you never know what your product is, actually. Your customers will define what your product is. And it doesn't mean pivoting every other day. It just means adjusting, being open-minded, and again, learning and focusing on who's your clients and customer base.
Very well said, Mr. Laurent. Indeed, the phrase less noise, more value is central to GetOblic. In practical terms, what is the noise you are eliminating for business owners, and what does the value you restoring look like for them?
It's very simple, Daniel. There's a saying that say when people look at the stars, real founders look at instruments, like pilots. Nowadays, if you go online to any social media, you will find 1,000 companies trying to sell you voice AI for your small or local business or medium business, whatever you name it. They all will try to display the finest voice, the smoothest voice, the most realistic voice. We, as a company, think that there's a certain level of quality that needs to be achieved as a voice. But the most important thing is not the voice itself. It's the information, the data that the voice are providing to the customers. Because, Daniel, one thing that is very important when you decide as a company to use voice AI, what you're doing actually is that you are giving the trust that you have been creating through your voice for years to an AI agent. And that's not something that should be taken lightly. So if anyone is listening here, again, don't look at the stars, look at the instruments, look at what the voice AI is saying, how it is saying, does it have guardrails, does it have fallback, And I believe that in the long run, the main objective of our company and any company for that matter is not necessarily to sell a voice AI product or an AI product, is to convey trust. We think trust is the most important value that we are building within our company. And in order to do that, you have to focus on the data and the quality of the data.
Interesting, Mr. Laurent. Correct me if I'm wrong. You're building the tech company in Montreal, a city known for its bilingualism. How does this unique cultural and linguistic environment directly shape and core technology and feature set of GetOblic?
This is who I am as an entrepreneur. I was born in France. I've been working for 23 years in the country that has been in my heart, USA and all the continent. Now I'm in Canada. We have an office in Israel, Tel Aviv. So we see ourselves as an international company, although there's only 3 of us. Because when you have a vision nowadays with what AI can provide you, you have absolutely no limit. And remember what I said earlier, Daniel, I was talking about the infinite game. You need to be able to think and scale worldwide. And this is exactly what you're trying to achieve. So, when you've been raised in Europe, you have, I believe, a certain level of craftsmanship that is the core of what the European history is all about, what we learn at school, And then when you go to America, you have this sense of efficiency that is also the core of the United States and Canada. And when now you go to work in Tel Aviv, you have this sense of urgency that makes things go faster. And if you mix all those 3 elements, you can achieve pretty amazing things.
Certainly. Mr. Laurent, and congratulations. When you started GetOblic, what was the single biggest misconception you had about the challenges of selling AI to small local businesses, and how did you adapt?
First misconception was believing that we were selling AI. We're not selling AI. AI is a tool that we are using, actually many tools that we are using to provide a service that goes beyond AI. First of all, the service, again, is conveying the trust that the business have been building for years using their voice. So we're already on another layer than voice itself. We're talking about trust. Then the second layer is that we thought that we would put the value of our company on how many customers we have. But we quickly understand that the real value of a company is how many minutes per day users are spending on our platforms. And this is very interesting, Daniel, because when we started to have traffic and people engaging with our 1.6 million, 1.8 now million AI that we have deployed on our directory, we started to understand that all those users are gathering for us, for GetOblic, an amount of data on how users, business are interacting with each other. And when you take all those data, you analyze it, and then you feed them to the voice AI agents we are building, you reach a level or threshold of quality that we never expected. We thought we would be building the voice AI. In fact, we are crowdsourcing the voice AI implementation and creation, which in turns values our company not only by how much people are signing up for our products, but how many people spend time using our AI. And by the way, Daniel, you're asking me about misconception. You have to be very humble when you're starting a company. We are learning things every single day. We are learning, for instance, and that's something that's probably going to be very interesting for our audience, that voice AI is not only today a wonderful tool to communicate, but it has also, and we like to call that serendipity, it has also an SEO value, if you believe that. And then maybe explain that to you in a minute. When you have a website, obviously, you want to be ranked high on browsers such as Google, right? Search engines. In order to do that, you have to ensure that users visiting your site spend time on your website, which is called retention. You don't want them to come in and come out. The reason is Google measures the time people spend on your website. Now, if you have a voice AI on your website and users interact with that voice AI, and that voice AI is pre-trained on your business, users are going to spend more time on your pages. If they do spend more time on your pages, it will make the length of retention a lot higher than your competitors that doesn't have voice AI. Google measures it and decide that you are the website that's going to be ranked higher compared to your competitors. So you see, we're learning every day beautiful things.
Indeed, Ms. Laurent, and thank you for that insight that you're giving to us. What is the most surprising or creative way you've seen a local business use GetOblic's AI receptionist that you never anticipated when you first designed the product?
Uh, First of all, putting aside the SEO part I mentioned earlier, you also, when you start that kind of business, assume that certain categories of local businesses will be even more interested in your product than others, right? And again, in fact, that's totally different. We were thinking that beauty salon, massage therapists, chiropractors would be the core of our businesses. And actually, they were initially because we put all our energy to reach out to those people. But then we found out that a lot of medium businesses were interested also in our product, even though they are receptionists. So when people start interacting with our business, we notice that obviously they try to reach businesses during closed hours. And this is not a time where small business owner can respond to the phone. And overall, the interaction are taking appointments, canceling appointments, rescheduling appointments, asking for services, asking for prices. But probably the most differentiating, uh, to answer your question directly, differentiating interaction that we had is customers that have been enticed through voice AI to get upsells on the business. So let's say you go to your wife, go to the hair salon to cut her hair. The voice AI will be able to offer your wife the ability to do a treatment right after the haircut, which is something that most of local business don't have time to do on the phone. There's a sense of urgency when you're on the phone. You know, you are busy, you are taking care of the customers, you are with your family. Now you have this wonderful tool, which is voice AI, that is patient, that is elegant, that has knowledge. And most of all, Daniel, and that's something that is really amazing, nowadays, voice AI responds to human emotions. So let's say someone is calling your business and is upset, voice AI will be able to react appropriately to that emotion. And that's wonderful.
Very well said, Mr. Laurent. With the rapid evolution of large language models, how do you decide with the new AI capabilities to build into a GetOblic and which ones to leave on the table?
Very interesting, Daniel. First of all, I don't believe that as entrepreneurs we should be running all the time after the next tech, because the next tech, it's an ever-changing business. It's a never-changing technology, and you cannot focus on your business and again focus on your customers while only be focused on the technology itself. There's always another tool. There's always something bigger coming. But let the Magnificent Seven work for you. Let them build the most wonderful AI. You, as a small business entrepreneur, you, as a startup company, you focus again on your customers. And now, let me give you some kind of information that we noticed. Since we have a directory with 1.8 million pages now, we are hammered by indexing bots such as Google, ChatGPT, Anthropic. And one thing we noticed lately that is something that you should really keep an eye on is that the most aggressive bot nowadays is not Google, is not ChatGPT, it's Meta Llama. Meta platform is hammering our website to index all pages and information on a proportion of 10 times more than Google or ChatGPT. So even though as now we are discarding Meta from the game, because obviously everybody wants to use Claude and ChatGPT and Gemini, obviously, I think Meta is going to come out within months with something that's going to be huge. I'm not an insider, I'm not part of Meta, but I think something big is brewing. So I would tell you and your audience that they should really be on the lookout. Something big is happening here.
Thank you for that lookout, Mr. Laurent. Thank you so much. What is the most difficult technical challenges you currently facing in the making a voice AI sound less like a robot or more likely a genuinely helpful member of a salon or auto shop's team?
We do not have, not only we do not have any problem with the voice itself, we actually refraining from going into focusing too much on the voice. Let me give you a perfect example, Daniel. As today, we have the technology to do voice cloning. But do we want, as a company, to make the user believe that they are talking to the real business owner? We do not think that yet. And again, Daniel, this is about our obsession of trust. You don't want people to hang the phone, start talking, and after a minute or two says, I'm not talking to that person, I'm talking to a robot. Why didn't it tell me? So we're using perfectly beautiful voices, but in no way, shape, or form we are trying to make the user think he's talking to a human. Because you have to disclose the fact that he's talking with an AI. And not only that, Daniel, but when you're building voice AI, you have to make sure that you put its own limitation, because voice AI can literally talk about anything at any time. But when it's important, it needs to be able to fall back and be redirected to the business owner. An emergency, a very important matter, you name it. Voice AI needs also to know its place and says, okay, right now I'm going to transfer you. Because at the end of the day, I do not believe, and you should not believe, that AI is going to be replacing human. It's going to enhance us, it's going to free us, but it's not going to replace us.
Very well said, Mr. Laurent. You position GetOblic against the luxury AI narrative. How do you compete for talent and investor attention when the biggest headlines are going to companies with a very different high cost approach?
We are, oh, we're fast. We are very fast. We have the kind of flexibility that absolutely no other company in our area can have. Let me give you an example. We admire what a directory like Yelp has been doing for the past 25 years. But there's absolutely no way that today Yelp will decide that it's going to shift its whole website and directory toward voice, because we are voice first. We think the digital that you see here on the screen, the digital layer, will in time closely disappear as voice will take a stronger place. And you see, this is the kind of flexibility that is only possible in the startup world, and in our case, the bootstrapping world, when you can take a very harsh decision from one day to another. You think about it, but you do it. Any other company will take 6 months to a year to take such a decision. It's only take 24 hours for us. So we are not afraid of the big company, and not only we're not afraid of big company, but we're not working against them. We're working with them.
You're targeting local businesses like salons and pet services. What do these seemingly simple businesses understand about customer relationship that larger, more data-driven corporations have forgotten?
The human side of it. I've had this wonderful discussion a couple of days ago, I'm sorry, with one of our customers that was complaining about the fact that he couldn't reach Google, for that matter, for any problem he had. And actually, Daniel, you cannot reach this company. They have completely put the human side away, and they're focusing on the digital. Now, funny things, voice is coming back with a vengeance. As human, we've been talking for centuries. This is the way we express ourselves. This is the way we convey our emotion. And for the past 25 years, the interaction have mostly been digital. You text, you send messages, you go online, you fill up forms, you talk to chatbots, you leave voicemails. Now voice is coming back. And Daniel, Elon Musk is going to build millions of robots. How do you think we're going to interact with them? We're going to talk with them. So voice is coming back. This is the layer that has been discarded for years. And now we're back into the voice era. And you should be ready for that.
Yes, definitely. And thank you for that warning, Mr. Laurent. And before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please to listen to my other podcast, people. My other podcast, because my abstract essay is already in sixth season. Abstract poetry in it. Third season, and of course, my book 101 review in sixth season too, comedy 101 in fourth season, and my food 101 in sixth season as well. Geography 101, love letters, movie 101 review, music 101, fifth season, science 101, sex 101, fourth season, and my trivia 101, spiritual awakening 101, motivation 101, entrepreneurship 101, law 101, mental health 101, coaching 101, and of course, my Bible verses 101. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Mr. Laurent, beyond phone calls, what is the next frontier for GetOblic's technology in terms of seamlessly connecting local business with their communities?
Um, I believe the next big thing, aside of growing internationally for us, will be deploying our app that will be not voice first, but voice only. So basically, you'll be able to interact with any business at any time that's working with us only through voice. You can search already with voice. Now you will be able to search and interact. And this is really the thing we're anticipating and we're very excited for.
Looking forward for that Mr. Laurent. So can you please invite our listeners to support GetOblic and whatever projects that you're doing right now?
Yes, just go to GetOblic.com. If you are not listed yet as a business, just open an account, create your listing. It takes less than 5 minutes and it's free, which is pretty cool because once your business is listed, within seconds, you will be able to try and use your voice AI for free. So do it.
Yes, please do it, people. Try it, and if you like it, why not use it? So I have one more question, Mr. Laurent. If you could program the perfect setup moment where the AI transfer a color to a human business owner, what would that ideal interaction sound and feel like for both customer and the owner?
Finally, I'm able to reach out someone that responds in time and that provide me great service. Thank you.
Certainly provide great, amazing service. What was the customer one all about? So, Mr. Laurent, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Daniel, and I wish everyone here a blessed day.
Yes, Monica people, see you soon.